Now, anti-whaling group Sea Shepherd is in a standoff with Japanese whalers after reports they harpooned a large minke in Australian Antarctic waters. I caught up with Sea Shepherd founder Paul Watson a short time ago. Good morning to you, Paul. You and Sea Shepherd are certainly no strangers to confrontation with the Japanese whalers. Describe to us what's happened in this latest incident.
Well, we've been following the Nisshin Maru now for well over 24 hours with the Steve Irwin and longer with the Bob Barker, and they haven't killed any whales since we've arrived. But the day before yesterday, the Bob Barker found them, and immediately they killed a whale, and I think they did that to test our resolve. They thought that we wouldn't intervene because of this U.S. injunction. And when they attempted to load that whale, the Bob Barker blocked them for numerous hours and made it very, very difficult. And they haven't tried to kill a whale since. And
you're certain that the harpooning of this minke whale, I understand it, happened in Australian territory?
Yes, the Nisshin Maru was found only 17 miles offshore from where the Davis Research Base is, and the whale was killed 52 miles offshore.
So is that a clear breach then of international action that the Japanese have taken?
All of the whaling that is taking place down there this year is in the Australian Antarctic territory. They were actually, according to their permits, supposed to kill whales in the Ross Sea area under New Zealand's jurisdiction. We found them in the Ross Sea on the 29th of January. We've chased them 2,500 miles to the west, and all that time they've been in the Australian Antarctic territory.
So what's the situation now? I understand it's a bit of a standoff between Sea Shepherd and the whalers.
It is a standoff, but it's one in our favor. They're not killing any whales. The harpoon boats are scattered all over the place. One of them is very low on fuel, hundreds of miles away, and the Sun Laurel, the Korean-registered tanker, has gone below 60 to refuel them, and it's a violation to carry heavy fuel below the 60 degrees south.
You mentioned the injunction that the US courts have against Sea Shepherd. You've taken some fairly radical action in the past. What are you and your activists prepared to do to stop the whaling from occurring?
Well, the injunction was by the United States courts against Sea Shepherd USA, and when that injunction came through, Sea Shepherd USA immediately withdrew to comply with the injunction. They withdrew from the campaign. So this is an Australian-led campaign. It's led by Bob Brown, and the ships are Australian and Dutch, and the captains are not American. So we don't see how the Ninth District Court in the United States has any jurisdiction over Australian and Dutch ships operating out of Australia into Australian Antarctic territory. And also, the Japanese fleet are in contempt of a 2008 Australian court ruling. They are in contempt. So I don't see how the United States can tell Australians they can't stop outlaws who are in contempt of the Australian Federal Court.
Well, the federal opposition in Australia is calling for a customs vessel to be sent into the region to police this type of behaviour by the Japanese and to keep a check on the Sea Shepherd actions as well. Is that the answer?
I think it certainly would help. I mean, this is the Australian Antarctic territory. We certainly recognize that, but obviously the Japanese don't. But I think that if it's going to be on the charts as the Australian Antarctic Economic Exclusion Zone, that Australia should defend the sovereignty of that territory.
Our government says, though, that its action in the International Court of Justice calling on the Japanese to end all whaling is the better approach. Is it enough to be stuck in the courts?
It is a good approach, and we hope that it wins, but we're concerned that even if Australia wins, that Japan will simply ignore the International Court and continue to do what they're doing. In the meantime, while this is going on, we've saved over 4,500 whales. And so we're here sort of, I guess, as a stopgap to try and uphold international conservation law until this court case is resolved.
OK, Paul Watson, we do appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Very interesting interview. 4,500 whales saved so far.